Prepare yourself, guys. This is Chris. We're talking through the medias, and Michael and I are about to give our thoughts and our predictions and everything we feel about the movie Suicide Squad that we just saw. Michael, you saw this movie a day ahead of me. You little son of a.
That's right. That's right. I caught it on Thursday night at the 8 o'clock show, and it was a full house. Full house.
It was packed.
It was jam packed to the brim. They even came in and had an announcement to tell everyone to scoot in.
Let me ask you this. Let's do a little. Let's do some name dropping real quick. What was the name of the theater that you went to or that you frequent?
It's an AMC in a mall.
Like, you had a whole 24 hours to let it absorb and sink into your brain. So I'm gonna get your thoughts on what you think about the movie. What are the things that you liked about the movie that you saw?
Okay, what I liked about it. I liked Will Smith as Deadshot. Very awesome character. I also liked Harley Quinn as or Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Jesus, and you know what? The movie itself, a lot of people are talking bad about it, and maybe it's because I went in with super duper low expectations, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a good time watching it. It does have its flaws, but I liked the dynamic, the team dynamic, and all that. I liked the action set pieces for the most part. There is some that felt a bit dull, because it just felt repetitive. But other than that, you know what? I had a good time watching it. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, overall I liked it. I can see where some of the critics who didn't like it having some issues and whatnot. The things I like, I'm gonna start with the things that I liked about it. Just like you said, the standout performances, Harley Quinn, Viola Davis as Amanda Waller.
Oh yes,
I thought
Viola
she
Davis
crushed
is great.
it. Even though I was more for, and if you didn't hear about this, and if you haven't seen most of her movies, then you're gonna think I'm crazy. But my original pick for Amanda Waller was always Oprah Winfrey.
You know what? That wouldn't have been bad either, to be honest with you.
But the person to play Oprah Winfrey in an Oprah Winfrey movie is Viola Davis.
Yeah,
so since
true.
I couldn't
That
get
is
Oprah,
true.
we got Viola Davis. So I was still happy. So she crushes it on her TV show. So she was a perfect fit. The only reason why I thought Oprah was because of how powerful she is in real life, and I thought that would translate on the screen.
Yeah, definitely.
Jared Leto's Joker. I'm gonna save that till the end. I want to like really talk about that. Like you said, Will Smith performance as Deadshot. He didn't overtake the whole thing. Like, it wasn't a Will Smith featuring the rest kind of a situation. He really was a team player. Everybody was a part of a team, and you could tell that translated on screen, that they were making this a team effort and shared the spotlight evenly. Who else did I like? The person that I really took a shine to was Miss Cara Delevingne. I'm going to say her name wrong.
Cara
the
Delevingne.
woman who played the Enchantress.
Yeah.
I've probably seen her in a bunch of movies. I just can't remember now. I'm not thinking clearly, but I don't know what it is. She's like what's her name from the Harry Potter series? The lady who grew up in front of our eyes, became a very beautiful woman. To remind me or whatever. Her name is,
Emma Watson. Emma Watson.
Emma Watson. She has like an Emma Watson thing going on, and very very pretty woman. But beyond being pretty, she was just amazing. And Jay Courtney, I liked his performance as well. So. What are in deeper thought? What were the things that you really took a liking to about this movie, like story wise or whatnot, whatever you want to say?
All right, what I really thoroughly enjoyed was the soundtrack. I really loved the soundtrack, and some people may say, it kind of told you how to feel. It played during the scenes where you want to feel sad, play a sad song. You want to feel high, play a happy song. But it worked though. Like it to me, it fit the tone of the movie very well, and that's another thing I like. The tone is amazing because they very dark subject matters, very disturbed people in this movie, but they find a way to make it funny for the most part. Not all of the jokes land, but when they do, they land pretty hard, and I was laughing out loud for a good chunk of the movie.
I enjoyed the. I'm gonna go into further talk on that a little later as well. I enjoyed the music choices, but I'm gonna go in. I've got to save the rest of that for the unfortunately for a little bit of my cons.
For the
And so
negatives,
I can't
yeah,
put
okay.
that. I can't put the music in my pros category. I love the choices of the songs.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanna. I'll save my cons for the rest of that. This is the spoilers review. So let's
That's
get into
right.
some spoilers, man. What did you what? Let's talk about it. Let's get into the meat and the bones of this, man. What you think? Come on.
Okay, so this is the problem I had with the movie. Probably my biggest glaring problem, and because we're gonna just dive right into spoilers, I'm gonna say that my biggest problem in the movie was the kind of semi plot twist about the high value target being Amanda Waller.
Right.
That really took me out of the movie. Because
Right. Yeah, how they lied to the team to make them think they were about to rescue some, I guess some big shot or whatever, and it turned out the
yeah,
person that was in danger was Amanda Waller the whole
yeah,
time.
and the problem I had with that was she by creating this Suicide Squad, right? This Task Force X. You know, if she didn't create them, if you think about it, this whole movie wouldn't have happened. There wouldn't have been
Exactly.
there wouldn't have been a problem. There wouldn't have been anything to save or to solve. People wouldn't have died. But because she had the bright idea to recruit a bunch of bad guys to get together and then let one of them loose, which was Enchantress, what did she
Exactly.
expect to happen? And then she goes to the location where this is all happening. She's like, "Save me." And then she just ends up killing like a bunch of people. You feel nothing for her character, even though she's very good at playing like the cold-hearted, handler of these people. It's kind of like I just at that point I was just like, okay, if she died, then I wouldn't care at all,
Exactly. And if you know anything about Amanda Waller, you knew that wasn't going to happen. One thing you learned about Amanda Waller, if you've seen Batman cartoons, the animated series, you've seen the Justice League and seen a little bit of Amanda Waller. Even in Batman Beyond, she had a scene with Batman Beyond.
Mm-hmm.
She's a survivor. It's hard to take her down. I mean, she's a survivor. That's one thing you can say about her. So and that's the point about Amanda Waller. She's straight to the point, by any means necessary, does what has to be done.
Very true.
In her mind, it is for the greater good. She does not mind getting I mean, people say they always get their hands dirty. She takes that mud and she puts mud on top of mud and throws some little feces in there, and then she gets in there, man. She is not playing around, and she knows it. And at the end of the day, I think she does have a heart, and she is the kind of person that regrets a lot of things or wishes that she didn't have to be so cold-blooded, and that kind of comes out a little bit in this movie too. But the greater good keeps popping up in the back of her mind, that she's doing this for the safety of the country, for the world, and just the greater good. I mean, so I respect her at that point, but you still think, man, and you don't want to say the word because you got ladies around you at the theater, but you know the word that people are thinking about whenever she does something cold blooded.
For definitely.
But any other cons about the movie, things that you wish they could have did a little bit better?
I had a couple minor ones. I know you enjoyed Cara Delevingne's performance, and for the most part, I did as well. But the last 10, 15 minutes of the movie when she was all CGI dancing all over the place, it looked so like out of place to me.
So wait, which scene was this?
This was the very
with
last.
Who, what character?
Cara Delevingne's character, Enchantress.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. The very tail end of the movie, the final battle, and she's like dancing.
Yeah, when she was finishing the spell up. Yeah.
It totally took me out of it. Totally.
That dancing was unnecessary, and I think another critic was talking about it, but he was on a non-spoilers rant, and he says you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about when you see it. It had to have been that dancing. That dancing was so unnecessary. Unless I could have seen if she'd have did like a seductive like thing, maybe if there was something or maybe there was a person that she had captured, one of the guys, and like grinded on them, like they were on the ground or something, and tried to in a sexual way, like maybe Will Smith's character tried in a sexual way do something to make Joel Kinnaman's character jealous or something like that, or mess with his head or something like that. Maybe that would have made more sense. But that weird dancing while she was doing the spell thing, it just took me out. You're right, that was weird. Another thing about the movie that, and I went in there thinking, okay, are these critics being too harsh? Are they? I mean, mostly these critics, we think they're going in there with that director's brain. They're going in there looking at the lighting. They're looking at the pacing, the editing, and all this other stuff. And the average film fans are just going in there to have a good time. But critics, they're going in there because they're going to want to talk to average fans, and they're going to want to talk to aspiring movie makers, critics, or whatever, and people in the industry and whatnot as well. Because these guys, these guys get hired because they're supposed to know what they're talking about. So these guys are looking at things that the average person probably doesn't really care about. Things like pacing, and I had to admit, I haven't watched any bad reviews or anything yet, but I'm sure the one thing that they're going to talk about is the thing I didn't like about it was the movie didn't know, to me, it didn't know what it was trying to do from at the very beginning. There was a tone that was set, and then it felt like towards the middle, especially when the flashback started a lot, the tone just totally started to change. And it was like, are you trying to be a comedy that has a little bit of action, or are you trying to be an action that has a little bit of comedy? And then at the end, it's like, are you trying to be a drama that has a little bit of action that has a little bit of comedy, or are you trying to be a drama that has a little bit of comedy the tone kept changing up a little bit, and it took the team. That team that I liked that they were building up. It felt like by the second act, it just felt like the pacing of it kind of totally shift into a totally different movie, and then it kind of found itself back again at the end. And here's what I mean by this, and I'll try to keep it short. At first, it felt like I wish the squad was put together and then Amanda Waller would have put them to the test before the big bad thing would have happened. Like, I wish, instead of wasting time learning about their past, they could have kept that in there, but maybe during little minor missions, them developing as a team, they were just forced together in their very first mission, and they just went at it. I felt like maybe it would have been better if there would have been even like a montage-esque kind of a thing where Amanda Waller was taking them all over the world in little minor missions. You could have saw Harley Quinn doing something crazy in this country, and then in Germany you see Will Smith do something over here, and in this country, and you see Captain Boomerang, get the job done, and they start to learn to work together as a team, all while the big bad plot is taking shape, in the background. I just felt like they rushed from real, like, not the real world, from realistic-ish to straight up super fantastic way faster than I appreciated. I just thought it went from zero to magic out of nowhere.
It's very true.
And that was the thing I had a problem with.
I could not agree with you more. The pacing felt crazy. Because we spent probably like the first 30-35 minutes like solely focusing on the backgrounds of these characters, right?
Right.
But it's so jarring when about halfway through the movie we get a Harley Quinn flashback out of nowhere, Yeah. And you could totally tell that scene was meant to be put at the beginning during all that Harley Quinn Joker introduction stuff, but it wasn't, and it felt totally out of place, somehow looking down the shaft of like a staircase reminds her of a vat of chemicals. It just felt wacky and weird, and like you're saying,
that didn't make sense. I mean, I could have seen if she was looking at like a pipe leaking, you saw a dripping pipe or something, and saw some water splashing on the ground, and then you could have saw a drop of the chemical going into that big old thing. It's something that made more sense. But yeah, it was some weird choices and whatnot. There was a lot of things in this movie that took you out of the movie, and then the movie then it sucked you back in, took you out, brought you in. One of the things that also surprised me that I really, really, really enjoyed was what's his name? Jay Hernandez's performance
El
as
Diablo. Yeah.
He was awesome to me, and I mean, it didn't throw me out off the movie. I mean, it already established that Superman. This is when after the death of Superman, when that happened. Spoilers, guys. After the Batman versus Superman, so we already know that aliens exist and people can fly. So all right, so that means when they showed a witch at the very beginning of this movie, that didn't throw me off. Seeing how they introduced Enchantress didn't throw me off.
Okay.
Seeing how they introduced Diablo also didn't throw me off. He explained it real quick. I was born with these powers and whatnot. And I think there's something further in there, like maybe wherever Enchantress really comes from, and that's probably where whoever and I don't know the comic book. That might be a little bit where the people that whatever's possessing or whatever is within Diablo from birth. I think that's similar kind of a thing that's also happening to him. Got a fire demon in him or something. but what threw me off was when we went from Enchantress right to her brother, and then the brother went from possessing a dude to just total big bad and the destruction of the spiraling trash in the sky and the whatnot. They went straight from A to B. You didn't even see how Amanda Waller got captured and all that stuff.
Which is very true, yeah.
You didn't see all that stuff. It was just there already happening. And I felt like that didn't need to be a secret. Like that didn't need to be a surprise. They could have showed Amanda Waller being in danger, and then the surprise would have just been on the squad. It didn't need to be a surprise on us because it was underwhelming in my book.
I mean, okay, when you mentioned the Amanda Waller being captured thing, another stupid glaring like hole in the movie is when we see her when she's captured, we see all these tentacles like going through her, and shit like that.
Yeah.
When we suddenly go back to when she's back.
Oh, you mean the second time when she's captured?
Yes, the second time. When she's under the spell of the Enchantress, and she's all the tentacles are going through her and everything at the very end, and then all of a sudden she comes back, right? And Will Smith's like, "How are you not dead?" My question was more along the lines of, "How are your clothes perfectly fine after all that?"
Yeah, I mean, well, no, I guess magic. I guess I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah,
and I wonder how they're going to explain all these metahumans and whatnot. It didn't throw me off that she was captured again, and that the tentacles were taking her memories and all her knowledge and whatnot, and it wasn't like burning her up or killing her or anything like that. What threw me off was the fact that she had her phone in her hand the whole time.
I didn't even think of that. You're right.
That she was being tortured and captured. Like she managed. I felt like maybe she had the phone in her pocket. She might have because she was hanging upside down. She probably dropped on the floor. The second that the guy saved the day and the thing went away, she dropped to the ground, picks up her phone, and like, okay, now I'm going back to threatening these guys again. That was just weird. I'm like, what? You're like, really? You still have that phone?
Yeah. Another problem is that you were mentioning the metahuman thing, right? And she says in the beginning, she's like, we need to get our own team of metahumans, and whoever wins first, ours are theirs, But the whole thing
is... the next war will be with these metahumans.
Yeah. But she only has one metahuman, or give or take two, I guess if you count Enchantress, two metahumans on this team,
Yeah, if you count Enchantress because it's a godlike creature or godlike being that's possessing a human, so still technically a metahuman because it's part human. And I don't think this is the end of Enchantress. I'm thinking that
definitely not.
If a sequel comes out of this, that Enchantress will still be like dormant inside of her body, but now more controllable because now her brother's gone and all this stuff, so she won't be the big bad. It felt like what they did with Enchantress was made her the Hawkeye of this movie. She was immediately taken out of the team.
Oh, you're right.
And was evil.
Yeah.
And for the majority of the movie, and then at the end comes back.
Yep.
So they're gonna make it. So if they do get a sequel, just like in Avengers 2, they're gonna make it up to her, and because. Another thing I didn't like about the movie was her brother, the main what we thought was the main bad guy. Then she became the main bad guy. She, to me, did a better job fighting off the squad than her brother did.
Very true.
It took one dude to pretty much handle the brother god, but it took the efforts of the entire squad to handle Enchantress.
Very true.
And then she had to get tricked at the end to get stopped.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm drinking a soda.
It's all good.
So you were talking about we were talking about Joker at first. What did you think about how they squeezed Joker's character in there?
You know what? That's another thing. I really do wish that we got more Jared Leto in this, because I feel like I liked him as Joker.
So does Jared Leto. I just read an article where he's upset that so much was cut out.
Yeah. I feel like there was so much more there. And like you said, they cut it out, and we'll never probably get to see until this Ultimate Suicide Squad DVD or Blu-ray comes out. But It was jarring. Like his scenes were, I felt like, were the most edited down. They would put this weird like filter on it, and it was super duper. His lines were choppy, and then when he showed up, he just kind of felt useless. He kind of just felt like a bit player when he shouldn't have been. You know.
Yeah. He just came into the scene and just introduced chaos. He just immediately just started shooting in almost every situation. It wasn't
basically
he wasn't as they didn't show his diabolical or his psychological side where that much. They showed a little bit of it in the flashbacks, but I wanted to see more. What's scary about the Joker is the fact that the things that he can do, that he can go toe to toe with Batman and get in Batman's head, and he can fight. And that he can that he can cause a lot of chaos. What's more scary about the Joker is his dialogue, and that was I felt was lacking. I mean, he had some great lines, but I felt like I needed to hear more. I wanted him to talk more, and like with that scene where he got the guard and was blackmailing him to get in that cell phone into the prison and whatnot. That conversation was and the conversation with Common's character, that was when they were in the club.
Yeah.
I mean, that conversation was awesome to me because that was Joker. But
definitely. After
that, everything was just shoot 'em up, shoot it up kind of a thing, and it just was like, okay, I don't know. I feel like the more dialogue Joker gets, the scarier Joker gets, and I feel like they kind of. I want to see what they cut out because I want to see more conversation. I know they cut out a lot of conversation.
Oh, definitely. You could tell that scene with the guard, like you were saying, that probably went on for like another 2 or 3 minutes, because that felt so jarring when they just suddenly cut away. All of a sudden he has the cell phone, but we never saw that. We never saw that transaction happen. We just saw them. They were talking. All of a sudden, this is next scene.
Yeah. All of a sudden he's sliding the cell phone. Yep. To her, and then Harley says that you're screwed. But I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to see more of Joker. And going into, I guess we can go into cameos. I mean, the little bit that we got of Batman was awesome.
Definitely.
I like that underwater scene when he goes to rescue Harley, and that was a real funny moment. Yeah. He tries to save her, and she pretends to be dead underwater. Now how awesome is that?
Very true. Very true. Very awesome. And then he just follows it up with a big punch. Underwater punch to the face, and then the nose starts to bleed out. That was awesome. Yeah, it was.
I mean, Batman scenes were pretty good. I don't want to do this fight in front of your daughter. That scene with Will Smith was pretty good. Batman had some nice action, and he didn't take over. They put him in there enough to be necessary, but he didn't overtake the
Definitely
movie.
Not.
And
Definitely
that was good. I like the way they handled Batman. The other cameo that I was surprised. I'm so mad that I heard about it like yesterday before I walked in there. I wish I would have been 100% surprised because I didn't know until yesterday. Flash, his cameo,
awesome cameo.
That was awesome. But there's another problem. Where is the timeline of this movie? Because, okay, go fast forward to the spoilers, guys, to the cutscene, the mid cutscene. Bruce Wayne has a meeting with Amanda Waller to get some more names to help him so he can go off into Justice League to do his recruiting, right?
Yeah.
So why is it that in Captain Boomerang's flashback, Flash already has his suit?
Yeah, I thought that was a bit odd as well. They never really went it. Because the only time we've seen Flash now is in the Justice League trailer 1, this 2, and then 3, Batman vs. Superman, and that little snippet, and he didn't have a costume on there. So
yeah, everybody's convinced that with Batman bringing the Justice League together, Batman has to be the one who has given the Flash his suit.
Yeah,
make
because
that
he's just some kid.
enough. So if I don't, from the vibes that I'm getting from those little bitty trailers and whatnot, and from what happened in Batman versus Superman, and having the Flash not revealing himself yet, and he's only on the little surveillance footage. There's no way. I'm not convinced that Flash made his own suit. I'm convinced that Bruce Wayne made the Flash suit. So for Flash to have that suit in Captain Boomerang's flashback before the Justice League is even formed didn't make any sense.
Very odd, yes.
Because Superman had at this point Superman had just died, and we have not gone into Justice League yet. So it's like, I know time travel isn't involved in this, even though it was involved in Batman vs Superman. I'm convinced that Flash scene when Batman vs Superman was that had to do with time travel. I think that was a Flash point paradox thing. I think that was time travel happening there, but. I just it threw me off. I'm like, why does he have his suit? Why is he Flash now? Like Flash. So that threw me out of the movie. So I don't know. But it was a good cameo.
That it was a good cameo. It was shocking because I didn't know about it going into it. I'm sorry that you got spoiled for you right before you went, but yeah, definitely cool to see Flash. Surprised that we only saw Flash. I thought we'd get a little bit more, but I definitely was happy with
we get a glimpse of Superman's funeral. We get Flash. We get Batman. We get Bruce Wayne. Another thing that I absolutely loved about the movie is a scene that happened in the Justice League cartoon. The Justice League Unlimited, I think, is when it happened. I don't know if you ever watched that cartoon series, but there's a scene where Amanda Waller and there's a lot of scenes where Amanda Waller and Batman are always going back and forth. Like he's one up in her, like Amanda Waller is like he has the army behind her and is like, you Justice League guys stand down, and Batman stands up to her and goes, well, he's pointing at Superman and Wonder Woman like, my guns are bigger than yours. And then then that was when Batman put her in her place. Then there was another scene where I guess Batman broke into her house to get some answers, and Amanda Waller does exactly all what we saw in that cutscene, where Amanda Waller in this cartoon says, "If I was you, I wouldn't overstep your bounds, or if I was you, I would like watch your step, rich boy." And she looks at him and calls him rich boy, and Batman's eyes get big, and it's like, oh my God, she knows. And that's what I like about Amanda Waller. She knows. Do you think Lex Luthor's the smartest guy in the world? He can figure this out on his own? No, the government knows who these people are. They don't care because they might need this information in the future. So it's not in the country's best interest to expose a guy who's able with these abilities. We might need him in the future, and he's rich. So it's just. That to me was awesome. That was one thing I really was happy to see in the movie.
Yeah, that last little scene, I really enjoyed that last little scene we got in the mid-credits was good. And when she goes like, you need to stop working nights, that was awesome. That was so awesome.
The way she said it was not,
Yeah.
It's just like, it reminded me of that scene. I will watch your step, rich boy. And then the way she said it in the movie, what did she say? You need to stop working so many nights.
Yeah, you need to stop working so many nights. And he just gives her like this look.
Yeah, Amanda Waller knows. That's how good she is. So overall, I mean, and I'll go into the music. I was talking about the music at first. Like I said, the music that they chose was good. I felt like the way they used it was I don't know. Me personally, it threw me off because that was the part that was confusing me on what type of movie this was supposed to be. Comedy first, action second,
I can see that.
or whatever. And the music because I could have seen a lot of those scenes where the music could have been just like choreographed music where they would have hired some original music into those scenes. Where it could have been a very dramatic tone and whatnot, but when you lighten it up with Queen and you play that in the background, it turns it into a totally different scene. So I don't know if they tried to do that on purpose because they were purposely trying to lighten the mood in the movie, but I felt like if they would have just kept the darker tone and the dramatic tone, and then just let Harley Quinn and Deadshot and them just say their funny little catch for their punchlines, to me that probably I don't know, I don't know because it didn't happen, so I don't know how I would have reacted, but I felt like maybe that would have made it better, but at the same time, who knows, maybe it would have made it worse for me. I don't know, so
yeah,
it's all speculation now. So overall, I know we're going a little long in this one though, but overall, what do you rate this movie?
Ooh. If I had to give it a number rating from 1 to 10, right now, I would probably give it like a high 6 to a low 7. So I'm just gonna go with 7, just a flat 7.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I'm gonna say 6.5 to 7. A lot of people in that theater that I was in, they enjoyed it. There was no big applause or anything. Everybody stayed quiet throughout the whole time they watched it.
Really?
And then there was like no applause at the end. It was like no like, wow, that was great. You just heard a few people here and there, but it was no. But everybody was smiling and happy with it.
Yeah.
But it was not. It didn't cause in my end in Houston, Texas, in one theater that I went to, there was no uproar of happiness. So I don't know, how did that? What about your end? Did they applaud at the end? Did they enjoy? Was it a roar at the end of that movie?
I would say for the last like 20 minutes, we got consistent claps. Consistent.
Cool.
Yeah. And the ending had a standing ovation when it finally ended.
Cool. You sure they weren't clapping because it was finally over?
Who knows? Everyone looked kind of happy, so I don't know. Maybe they're happy to leave.
I'm thinking that overall, it's gonna invoke happiness. So there's a clash between the critics and the fans on this one. Hopefully that does translate into some numbers, and maybe for this, if there's a sequel that it generates, that will they'll clean up whatever the hiccups was in this movie, and hopefully the second one, if there is a second one, will be superior.
Let's hope so.
To the first one.
Yeah, let's hope so, Chris. I was rooting for this movie, and it was disappointing, but I definitely still stand by that. It wasn't an awful movie. I still enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah, it was not. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't awful, and I'm still I'm gonna have to. I need another like day or two to decide whether or not on where I'm gonna rank it between Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and this one now.
Yeah.
I might just wait to give that rating until Wonder Woman comes out. But all right, that's it for us, guys. Appreciate you guys bearing with us and learning a little bit about our thoughts of this movie. We definitely want to hear what you guys think. Comment after you see this movie. Check it out and come over here and type a little comment and let us know what you guys think. Remember, we're still giving away tickets, so if we hit 700 subscribers within the next week, we'll give away tickets to go see this movie. If you want to see it for the second time, or if you want to just push to the next big movie, just let me know.
Yep.
And we'll make that happen. But when we hit 700 subscribers, we're going to give away another set of movie tickets. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're planning on giving away a gaming console to a random fan out there. So it increases your chances when you comment, when you share. And when you definitely have to be a subscriber. So please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Go to Mike's channel and also do the same thing. Check him out. He gives awesome reviews. This guy knows exactly what he's talking about. He sees things on a whole different. I think he's in the fourth dimension. This guy's awesome.
I'm trying my best.
Mike, tell them about that channel real fast.
Yep, you guys can find me if you type in Michael Chew or Wreckage Chew in your search bar. I always the first one pop up. You gotta see me. No shirt on. That's me. Movie reviews, reactions. We got some gaming stuff coming soon. I just got an Xbox One because Sean was talking about it last time, so I picked one up. So who knows? Maybe we'll do something in the future. Who knows? You guys should definitely go sub there, and we'll see what happens.
Awesome. We got Michael joining the clan, so we're gonna definitely after this we're gonna probably get on some Black Ops and just tear it up.
Dude.
So that's it for us, guys. I appreciate it once again. Chris, we're talking through the medias. It's Michael. We're talking through the medias, and we will see you next time at the movies. Till then, you guys be outstanding always.
Yep.
Peace.